So perhaps you saw my Beretta Pico video where I tested the gun with the Lehigh defense ammo and the Liberty civil defense ammo and some MagTech. I don't have the box here, but MagTech standard full metal jacket. Everything worked fine. So, well, except you saw, just to recap, I had trouble getting the Lehigh defense ammo into this magazine. They were getting jammed up in there, and that's an unusual bullet. So I mean, I'll just choose not to use that ammo in here. It is an unusual bullet. If you're not familiar with it, take a look at my video introduction on Pico. So what I did want to do was talk to you some more outside of the range about the gun. So let me come a little closer, and so here's the gun. All right. By the way, it's empty. We're clear. I love the way it's shot. As you might, if you saw the video, you see that I was very happy with the recoil on the gun. And I think as a compromise, what we discussed with Cody there was, we noticed that this slide is it's a little tough to pull back. It's a strong spring, and so the assumption is that that's how you get such low recoil on the gun. So I'm happy with it. I don't know if you want a slide that slides easily, this may not be the gun for you. Or maybe, you know, the Beretta says on their website that it's easily customizable, so maybe there'll be some recoil springs coming out that are a little friendlier for people who like a easier slide to pull back. But then I'm guessing that the recoil will increase when you do that. So, and what else did I think about it? Well, this magazine has an extension on it, but not room for an additional round. So it's still a 6-shot magazine. It allows me to get my normal size hand for man anyway on the whole gun, but you don't get an extra round. I'm assuming aftermarket will do something about that. For me, for a concealed weapon, I'd rather not have this long extension on there. I've been training myself to shoot like this. There's a weapons trainer that I met that is teaching people how to do that. So and I find that I'm just as accurate this way, and I can get more of my hand on the gun with the flush magazine, which I had here a moment ago. Here it is. Here's the flush magazine. So slide that in there, and you can't see it really unless you turn it over. So if I put my hand in like this, I can almost get my pinky on there. Half of my pinky's on the bottom of that gun. So I'm guessing there'll be some aftermarket goodies that come out for this. This is going to be a popular piece. There'll be plenty of opportunity for anyone making accessories for this gun. So I'm looking forward to see what people come up with. But the most important thing is, how does it shoot? It's a pocket pistol. I wanted to compare it with some of my other pocket pistols for you. And oh, one more thing before we do that. We mentioned in that other video that this has, Cody said it's similar. I'm not familiar with H&K, but he says this is the same as the H&K release. You have to push it down. So I hope that focuses for you, but this is the magazine release, and there's one on both sides, right there. So you got to push down on that. So the idea is that after you're done going bang, 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 that you come up, I'm guessing with your other hand, and you pull down on that and the magazine comes out. Right? It's pretty simple, comes right out. But you can't do it with your shooting hand. At least I can't. I'm trying to push down on that with just my thumb. It's a little tough. Maybe it takes practice. Maybe if you're familiar with H&K guns, you know how to do that better than I do. But that's a little strange for me, a little unusual. What else can I tell you? We took it down in the store. It was easy. Comes apart just like any other. For me, I have 5 other pistols, and I'm pretty accurate with my pistols. This guy was shooting about 3, maybe 4 inches below where I was targeting, and so I'm finding I have to raise the front sight up a bit, and let's see if I can line that up for you. So I gotta bring it up like that in order to be accurate. I ran about 50 rounds. I ran 50 rounds of MagTech Full Metal Jacket in there, and I was consistently 3 to 4 inches below where I was targeting with this gun. So maybe aftermarket there'll be some hind sights, rear sights that we can elevate. I don't think you can do much with that front sight. I don't think you're gonna get that any lower. But to compensate, yeah, maybe you can. This thing seams up a couple of millimeters anyway. So maybe there'll be some aftermarket. They are removable, so that's a good thing. There'll be some aftermarket upgrades for this. I'm certain of it. So again, the most important thing is how does it shoot. I know right now I need to compensate by pointing up a little bit. So what would I change about it other than the sight? For me, I'd like the back of my hand to be up a little higher on this gun. I'd like there's a rather large butt on this, and I guess aligning with the trigger. I'm not a weapons design expert, and I'm sure the folks at Beretta are smarter than I am, but for me, I'd like my hand to be up a little higher on the back of the gun. So let's compare it with my other pistols in that regard. We'll start with the Caltech P38, which is loaded. So give me a moment. I'm going to clear it. Okay, we are clear, and I'm going to leave the magazine out for a moment for this purpose. Again, here's the Pico. Here's the Caltech P38. So I'm going to put the two, one right over the other. And you can see they're nearly identical in length. They look identical to me in length. Okay, back up a little bit. See, am I getting sliding around here? There's the Caltech up against the Pico, and side view. Side view. It's lined up. The barrels are perfectly lined up right there, so you can see that it's as small as the Caltech P38 in terms of length. Okay. Height, the Pico is a tad taller. So let me turn this around here. I'm going to put the bottom of the guns lined up, and you can see that right there, the Pico's taller. And then width-wise, I don't know, I'd say, looks to me, and for all intents and purposes, they're the same width. Now here's what's important to me. When I was talking about the back of my hand, I want that up a little higher. Let's look at how that looks when I line up this part of the gun, the two guns. I'll turn it around for you. I'm going to line up the two as if your hand was identically nicely put up in the back of the gun here. You can see, you'll look inside the trigger there, you can see that the Pico is lower. The trigger guard, the top of the trigger guard is actually lower in there, which indicates to me that this part that I'm talking about here needs to be higher. So let's do it this way. If I line up the top of the trigger guard, okay, so I've got the tops of the triggers lined up, and you can see that the Caltech is lower. I hope you can see that. So anyway, the idea is that I want my hand up higher on the gun in the back. So that was the Caltech P38. Have the Glock 42 here, again unloaded. So let's line it up with that. Now, to be fair, I have a guy that does some customization on guns, and he customized this one for me, and actually I brought this up a little for me so my hand rides up higher. That's really where I want it. So if I do the same experiment here, lining up the back of the pistols, this again is the Glock 42, and I had it customized. You can see that. Can you see that? Well, let's turn. Yeah. I don't know how the lighting is, but the trigger guard on the Glock 42 is lower, meaning that I can get my hand up higher. I hope that's making sense for you. Comparisons otherwise, obviously the Glock 42 is a bigger gun. It is longer, right? Line up the back. If I line it up from here, the Glock sticks out in the back and the front compared to the Pico. As far as tall, I'd say the 42 is the same. Glock 42 is the same height as the Pico. Same height. Turn around. Oops. Sorry. That's the width. 42 is a little thicker. And maybe the 42 is a tad longer, but not much. Just that hook in the back for the, so when the magazine's in there, that makes it a little taller. All right, so you saw the length, width, height. That's a comparison to the Glock 42. I have the M&P Shield 9mm here, so that is also loaded. So allow me a moment, and we are clear. Empty. Okay. Pico Shield 9mm. Of course, it's going to be bigger. The M&P, that is. But again, my hand rides up higher on this gun, and I did, to be fair, I had this one modified as well, so my hand would ride up higher on here. I just find that I'm more accurate, and the recoil is better, easier to manage when my hand's up higher on the gun. So width-wise, MP Shield's thicker. Height, no surprises there, right? The height is taller. So why am I comparing a 9mm to a 380? Just because they're both concealable. So they're both concealed weapons. As far as I'm concerned, they're in the same category. 9mm short, 9mm long. You know, ballistics on this are not as powerful as this, but when it comes to concealing a weapon, I'm interested in how big they are. So I can conceal both of these guns. Of course, in hot weather here in Florida, I can wear less clothes with this or the Caltech. I have one more to compare for you. This is my wife's Taurus 738 TCP. It is clear. And so I'm leaving the magazine out. Let's do a comparison on that one. Let's line these up. Put the Pico in front. Barrels lined up in the front. You see the back of the Taurus sticks out just a tad up here on the top, but they're essentially the same length. Turn it around for you. Taurus TCP, essentially the same length. And height, just like the Caltech was, in comparison to Caltech, the Pico's a little taller. In width, eyeballing it, looks the same. Trigger guards are pretty damn close. Well, pretty damn close, wouldn't you say? And lining up the butt, where you put the back of your hand, these two guns, let's see. Actually, they're pretty close. Yeah, they're the same. I don't shoot this Taurus very often. It's going to be, or it is my wife's gun. So, and I did not have this one modified. So, if it were going to be my gun, I'd change the color, but I'd have this shaved up a little bit if it can be. I don't know. So, what I plan to do is I'm going to take this into my man and see what he thinks. He'll take it apart and see if he can shave that up a little bit. Maybe put a little grip material on there, like he did for my other pistols. So I'm actually thrilled with this gun, with the exception of these few things that I mentioned. I want the sight. I want to see some aftermarket sight improvements. I'm okay with the slide being stiff. I've got the grip to handle it, and pull it back and whatever. So, and I'd like to see some new magazines come out for it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is two things. In another video, I'm going to do one more on this gun. I'm going to have this modified, and I'm going to shoot some plus P ammo through here. And I'll share that with you, but that's going to be a couple of weeks out. Thanks for watching.